morning. Good morning, good morning. Another wonderful day in the markets, guys. Another banging Asian session. Really great overnight session. We'll see what New York brings here in a little bit. Today, typically a no trade day for me, or preferably have taken advantage of the overnight movement. So not really looking forward to too much during the open here. We might get some continuations, possible. I mean, if I was partaking today, I would expect one of two things, probably. One, for us to either finish filling out some of these inefficiencies down to like 23.5, or for us to kind of return back to a mean or average, maybe trading back up into this 5-minute lone candle up here. Just kind of rebalancing some of this later overnight action, maybe back up into 24K flat. So we'll see what we get. Again, I'm not really interested in trading towards either of those levels. Yeah, the overnight was nice. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Talked about a few things yesterday on this, but one, we just talked about our higher time frame POIs, right, being up at this 4-hour lone candle. Like we talked about yesterday, it's probably going to take some time. We talked about the possibility of it leaving, a wick behind, which it more or less did, right? Leaving this candle behind with the wick, and then filling that back out, and then producing something to the sell side. So, I mean, as far as POIs go, everything worked out here pretty well. Again, you'll notice that the market doesn't like to just play immediately from that level, right? Pushing above it, capturing some other stuff sometimes makes sense. It's not meant to be a 100% accurate to the tick type thing. So we did end up getting some action up there. The breadwinning overnight positions were primarily right when Trump was speaking. I mean, again, I don't know if anybody caught this stuff. If anybody that's on here, again, has like the indicator access, for the few of you that I know that do. I'm curious how many of you guys actually executed off of this. Again, we talked about this whole setup yesterday. With it forming something like internal around Trump. Now, I think it would have been a little bit better had we pushed just slightly higher. If I had to make like a textbook, push, it probably would have been a little nicer if we swiped this. But again, you're capturing a bunch of liquidity from just like the overnight real tight range that forms just around that last hour of close into the first 2-3 hours of the open here. Again, volume starts to pick up even before Trump, which is nice. So it's like you're clearing these highs before he even begins to speak. And then, to be honest with you, I know he spoke at 9. I mean, this formed right at 9, so there's no possible way that he opened up his mouth this early. I don't know how on time he is in comparison to Mr. Jerome Powell. Mr. Jerome Powell's always 3 minutes late to actually saying anything. So, again, a lot of this forms before he even speaks. Again, you get the nice little OB print. And then that runs all the way through the morning. It's just the same thing that we talked about way over here, right, at the beginning of the week on Monday. It's the type of print that, based off the reaction of how quick it moves and with how much power it moves, and from the POI and like type of liquidity you're moving from. In this case, you have that higher time frame 4-hour candle. It's just one of those types of things that you want to hold into New York. Right, like you see a reaction like this down into TP1. Again, it compresses down into TP2. This is not something I would look to fully exit unless I had to. Trading evals, trading with a consistency rule. Okay, I get it. But otherwise, this is one of those things where you just count your blessings, partial out some, put your stop loss in a spot that you're okay with accepting, and then just riding out through the morning. And again, at this point in the morning, I mean, where you have your trailing stop is going to be entirely dependent on how much you've partialed out of that. If I didn't partial out of that at all, I would be probably trailing pretty close. I mean, this probably gets hit if we see any rally today, but that would just be one, because again, you know, you want to give it back another 100 points by having it up here? Probably not, especially if you haven't partialed out. If you have partialed out of this, again, I'd probably have my stop higher, right? Just because, again, I've already paid myself, so I'm less inclined to trail it tighter. So yeah, overnight traders, man, it's really the breadwinners. I know a couple people that called it. Congrats to them. I unfortunately was just like too locked in with some other stuff that I was working on. So beautiful overnight trade. Again, what do we get today? When overnight session expands that much, I don't expect much from New York. There's really one of two things that happen. Either you get real choppy and annoying. Again, maybe you do print something to come back to the highs. I think it just ends up being choppy. Or New York just straights continues the money printer, and you do come fill out, you know, some of this other stuff down here, 23,500. So, yeah, easy no trade for me. Did want to come on and talk about the overnight trades because they were just absolutely gorgeous. What's going on, Wally? Let me see. I ended up closing last night. Only had one contract by mistake. What do you mean by mistake? What do you mean by mistake? Because I'll be honest with you, I went back and I like bar replayed this just to, you know, see what the risk would be like. And again, like, volatility is kicked up a little bit, so again, like, realistically for most people, I don't think you could have had more than like 3 micros on this. I think I bar replayed it with like 400, no, I'm sorry, with 400, with 4 micros, and it was like a $500 risk. So 3 micros, you're looking at like 380-ish. So yeah, you really couldn't have too many contracts on, I don't think, to be within like risk parameters for most accounts. I know that we highlight 50k accounts. I know some of y'all like the 150k accounts. So obviously your risk is different on those, but I mean, 1 contract on this is, again, not bad. Again, people think that you need a lot of contracts in order to make good money in the market, and I would say that's not true. What you really need is volatility, right? Like, if you're trading with smaller contracts, then volatility is your friend. Trump, on again, a day like today where you're catching a really nice move, again, the contracts that you need on that are very minimal. Again, like, even just kind of going back, this is fucking NQ. Okay, yeah, so see, like, 1 micro here is like $126 a risk. Like 250 is like our sweet spot. Again, even like adding a 3rd one here is like, I mean, you could do it if you got a buffer. But we're assuming 50k account, no buffer, you're fresh risk. This is probably the most you can do. You know, and again, you don't really need much to pull from this, right? It's like awesome. You're already up 954, you partial out here, you're locking 500. You know, you break even on the day. And you can just milk that final contract. Again, even with 1 contract, I mean, 600, 700 bucks. I mean, this is fine. Would it be easier if I just played it out? I said, I mean, I was in a trade prior that I had taken profit on before. I'd closed 1 contract, a partial, never changed it back. Oh, okay, fair enough. So, I mean, like, even on 2 contracts with a partial, I mean, like, 1,400 bucks off $250 risk. Again, this is only really possible with the volatility, and, you know, that's a no emotion. You know, we're not really doing anything to manage the trade there. I know the result of that, so I'm not like going in candle by candle to be like, oh, what should I do here? Which is why I hate backtesting. Let's see, we got the open, we got a nice little spike up. I think it could be interesting too if we swipe some of this stuff here into 10 a.m. and we come back for this 5-minute, some of these 5-minute loan candles. Again, maybe you can play continuations into the end of day if you think that we're gonna close the day near the lows, which is a possibility. You know, maybe this gets some absorption up into here. Trades for like this though, like if we do get a play out like this, I want you to know that a lot of this usually happens at like 2:30 to 4 o'clock. Like a majority of this move might come in like the last 20 minutes of the market open. That's typically what happens when you close the day low, and it does give you like a secondary chance. Like you have to fight a bunch of chop here because there's gonna be a lot of like rebalancing happening, and then towards the end of the day, it'll happen like after 3:15, 3:30. It'll start to accelerate a little bit. So it might work, it might not. Again, on prop accounts, sometimes you have to be out at like they'll auto exit you at 4. Some take you out at the final minute of the day. Top step takes you out at 4:10. So sometimes those 10 minutes are like the difference between that actually working out. So yeah, we'll see if we get that. I mean, that's like best chance if you do want to play today. Again, I would apply the rule of the market has moved 380 points, 400 something points before the open. I mean, it's just easy to not risk money in a day like today. Especially if you call those Asian session trades. Especially if you, I mean, just enjoy your day if you call those. Just taking note of me needing to pay a little more attention. Yeah, I mean, Josh, those are just like, I mean, I do shit like that all the time. I'll be honest with you, dude, I've messed up a day just by being on the wrong contract. Like, there's like little mistakes like that again are variables that nobody can plan for. Like I've been on NQ instead of the micro, and it's like I execute on the position, and maybe it's like 9:35 in the morning, and you know it's like that little mess up, you know, might mess everything up because it's like in those couple seconds you might be immediately down like $180. Which sucks because you might have only been trying to risk 200 to begin with. So now it's like, do I re-enter this on my micros? Because I already kind of lost my money to a mistake. So you gotta just chalk it up to that, man. You're gonna make little shit like that all the time. Shit, I've entered trades on MNQ and it not even be related to indices. It's just not synced in my platform's on like GC, so it's like I entered a gold buy even though I'm looking at NQ. It's like you don't realize till like 7 minutes later, and you're like, what the hell's going on here? Those are the worst days because it's like you just nobody to blame but yourself. I was thinking of setting the sell limit on the retest, but I just didn't. Yeah, I mean for last night. It's funny that you say that too, because I was thinking about what I could do with the indica. Like, strictly speaking, if you do that, like, you get such a nicer trade. Again, like, while you've been around for a while, so, like, you know what I mean by that is, like, typically when this prints, the indicator prints it right away. When we manually trade it, typically what I'll do is I'll enter, if I'm getting an immediate print, I'll try to scale in. So, for me, typically, a trade will be anywhere between like 3 and 5 contracts on micros. Again, fresh risk. We're not assuming I have a buffer or anything like that. I'm not trying to trade more aggressive. It's just normal risk. It's usually between 3 and 5 contracts depending on the stop size. So immediately when it prints, I might just throw like 1 or 2. But what we're really looking for, ideally, is you get a push back up into this, which changes the RR massively. So it's like, you know, you go from what is this, a 66 point stop. It's like if you're setting a limit at this candle instead, and again, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get no retest and it just goes. Sometimes you get the perfect retest and this is magnificent. I'll be honest with you, I haven't ran tests on which one's statistically better. Ask me again next week, because if I have some free time this weekend, I'll definitely do that. It's like, you know, you frame the trade like this instead. And again, now this is a 44 point risk. And it does change the RR quite a bit. I mean, this is a 1 to 11 now. Versus like a 1 to 7. I mean, moving this doesn't... Yeah, okay. So mathematically, it's the same thing. Because we've traded past that anyway. So it does impact it a little bit. And then other things too. It's like, I have coded the indicator to give like extra space at the high. It's like you could also, if you want to be a real greedy son of a bitch, you could do something like this where you don't give it that buffer space. And it's like now, you know, now you're running 32 point stop. This is now a 1 to 16. It's like you have to find out statistically or through probability, is running the tighter stop. Because sometimes, you know, sometimes you get something that does this, and like you get that little spike and it still drops. That's why that's coded that way, is to kind of like curve that. So yeah, man, I mean, for me, I was just not watching, dude. I was like, it wasn't until it was already down in TP1 that I had seen anything with this. So very sad. Let's see, we do have some prints here off current price action. Again, my thing with this is you need this to run really clean to 23,500 for this to make sense. And my other problem with it is that you're just kind of middle of the ground here. Yeah, see again, TP's down here is, you need to run this 5-minute candle. So again, this is not my cup of tea. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I'm not taking it though. I would need this to do the same thing up here to be worth my while. Let's see, I'm so behind on chat. Holiday tomorrow too. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, tomorrow is a bank holiday, so with that in mind, my week's probably wrapped. Indicator is done. I saw you were making it a while back. I wouldn't use the word done. I would say, I mean, it's in a usable state. It's done as far as like, yeah, we use it every day. We're always advancing stuff though. Nothing that I build is ever done. We're always tweaking stuff, making stuff better. But yeah, man, it's available at maybemarkets.com. Everybody in chat that we've been talking so far has been using it, so you could ask their opinion on it. Yeah, we got a few. We got our levels indicator, we have our execution indicator. You can see this is a trade I called out right now, which I'm not a fan of the location of. But you called our entry about 3 minutes ago. Again, gave you an opportunity to snag a better entry, so maybe you do that. And then again, the TPs for this, unfortunately, are just all the way down here. 23, 430s, but I'd go break even on a lower day and just enjoy. I'm always the greedy son of a bitch, just because I don't agree with allowing more space. Yeah, I would say for me, I also run the highs more than I do use the actual recommended indicator stop loss. Again, because the indicator I built with I have to build it for the newest person in mind. Right, so that's why it's coded to have extra space for that reason. This trade working out pretty well so far, though. Wonder if anybody's scalping this. Let's take a look. Did ES call it as well? Yeah, ES called it as well. The Dow have a print. No, the Dow doesn't have a print, and honestly, the Dow is interesting swiping these lows if this holds up. That would be interesting. That's just me reading price action, though. Yeah, you kind of have the same thing here too. It's like if this starts to close back above 23,712, again, I mean, if I was scalping this, I'd probably be concerned. Again, this is, you gotta keep in mind, this has moved 500 points already today, so that's why I don't like the continuations. It's like, are they logical? Sure, but look at the bigger picture. I suspected it was gonna hit that 30-minute and die. What 30 minutes? The lone candle. I don't think I typically don't use the 30-minute. These are my settings for the levels. The 3-minute I toggle on and off depending if I need it. Sometimes it's a little annoying. And again, I mean, if I'm on the 3-minute chart, I can kind of spot that myself. Like, I don't need to see that on other time frames typically. So I usually have that off. But I have the 5, 15-minute, 2-hour, 4-hour. I toggle body on and off. It depends. I really prefer using the wick, but I will toggle that if something prints and I suspect that it's, you know, I want to check it out. Outside of that, I just have some of these other levels turned off. Like, I really just don't use that stuff. $30-minute could be good too, though. I don't think that this probably doesn't crowd it up too bad. I don't think it called, did it? Does it? It doesn't even recognize this 30-minute. Unless you just had that yourself. There's nothing wrong with the 30-minute time frame, by the way. Again, I'll say this. I've hated the 30-minute time frame for like 8 years, 9 years. So when it comes to the 30-minute time frame, when I speak ill of it, it's definitely nothing to do with statistics. Actually, in fact, I think it's like one of the better performing time frames for like the pro indicator itself. For CFDs, anyway. Yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, that's a good point to make. I'm actually curious why it didn't call this, if I'm being honest with you. There's a couple of these settings that are like that are affecting it. This setting apparently is different by default. I have mine set to 100. This basically all this wants to confirm basically is how, in case you guys are curious what some of these settings do. Because it's my mistake for not taking them out. I meant to take them out, but all that like min breakout range, all that checking is how large the actual range is for all 5 candles that form the lone candle, right? So both candles, the opposing candle, and then both other candles. It just has to be larger than 100 points. Which, again, with the volatility on these, for most cases, is gonna hit most things. Like 20 is just far too small. You know, I feel like you get like too many callouts with that, so I increased mine to 100. But it's just a setting you guys can tweak if you'd like. Alright, like I said, if this gets back above here, I would definitely be concerned. So you might get a little bit of a bounce if you do get closes above some of these opens. Again, you're just playing internally here. I mean, this might fall into a chop as well, but again, when I look at NQ, you know, that's just what I see. It's like, okay, we're basically a liquidity pocket, right? If you've been through some of the stuff on my channel, right, we just look at this as like a liquidity pocket, right? This is our low. This is our internal lows that we're building. You know, you get a new high, a little bit of a structure shift. This area just becomes that pocket of liquidity between structure at a turning point. So I wouldn't be surprised if this, again, like I said, returns back to an average up at 2,900, 2,400. I'm willing to bet people like Free Zone Lou probably all over that. All over those buys. Alright, anyway guys, I don't really have too many other updates on the market here. I would expect NASDAQ to probably come up and test some of these 5-minute lone candles here. We'll see how it closes, keeping in mind tomorrow is a bank holiday. In terms of stuff we're looking for next week, we're probably gonna stay south side, guys. I mean, there's really no reason for us to suspect to favor buying. I mean, you know us. We'll take a good buy side on the you know, local liquidity and all that. But as far as like the broader plan of things, we stay with a bearish view. There were prints on ES and YM. Alright, let me just check that out real quick. For what? Do I have... Let me have the sessions turned off. No, we're post open. Oh, 15s. Hold on before I get off. Is this pre-market stuff we're talking about? Oh, we did, huh? We also had continuations too from London Open on this. Yeah, again, so maybe that gets you again back up into some of this. Again, I probably wouldn't be looking for. I mean, maybe you get that full TP one, but I would cover over 65.53 for sure. Gold. I'll see if anything printed on gold for you. Let me see if anything printed on gold for you guys. Those of you that don't have access to the tools, let's see. You have 3-minute absorption here, which is interesting. Arena decent POI. Buying probably not a terrible idea. Yeah, I mean, you have this 3-minute absorption, which is unfortunately like already running on you, which is annoying. This is also... I've been sitting here for quite some time. Yeah, a nice 30-minute lone candle up into this. I mean, your best bet at this point is, I don't even know if you can begin to play this. Your best bet would be like maybe if you get some sort of lower time frame little reaccumulation that you can play and compress up into in here. But I mean, like indicator wise, again, your setup is already kind of gone. It would have been buying. I mean, hopefully with this type of setup, I mean this gave you the opportunity to get in at a better price. So, but yeah, we're expecting move up to 47.38 probably. I mean, second TP up at 47.82, but I think 47.39 is a great exit on that. All right, appreciate y'all, but I gotta go jump into a meeting here at 10. So, I will see you guys. Well, tomorrow's a bank holiday, so I'll see you guys in the Discord if you're in the Discord. If not, on stream, I'll probably see you guys next week. Much love, it's your boy Skag. I'm out of here.